Morning, everybody. How are ya? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing this fine Saturday morning live on February 8th, 2025? Looks like I've got audio, video, and everything's working A-okay. Got a full room this morning. Ugh! Excited. It's the highlight of my week, let me tell you. Laramie Wall. Did you kick Ryan West out of line? Did you butt if in front of him, Laramie? Ryan, good to see you. Jason, 96, overtaking Jason, 95. Good to see you. Hoos, morning. Hey, morning, sunshine. Morning, West Coast. Shanbot, bot of Shans. Good to see you, Joe. Joe. The morning Joe. Not that guy. This guy's better. Wayne, good to see ya. Commute. Is in Iowa? Is it all icy and crazy? Matt, good to see ya. Morning. Gabe, thanks for chiming in. Good to see ya. Jake Hartman. Good to see you, Jake. Welcome. Nubis. Good afternoon. Appreciate the heads up. 5x5. Everybody's check it. 2025. Yeah, that's the year of our Lord. Doesn't even make sense when I say it. Keith, good to see ya. Modoc. From Chucktown. Flint, good to see you. Look at this. It just keeps going and going. Aaron, morning. 7.5 on the loft. Yeah, it's out of control. I got to get a haircut. It's like starting to poof out on the sides. The struggle is real. Mr. White, 20, good to see you. Morning. Andy Hall, thanks for supporting the show. Appreciate it. As well as many of the other folks. Good to see you. Stefan, look at this guy. He's here. Look at this guy early from Kazakhstan. Our friendly neighbors to the north. Yes, indeed. RPG, Gen Exile, good to see you. Victor Wyatt, morning. Woot. And people will be trickling in as they grab their popcorn or drink for the morning. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and crack open a cold one, if you will. So just skinny on up to the TV or device you're watching this on and kick back and listen to the sultry tones of me talk for like an hour and a half, maybe, give or take. You can type in the chat every once in a while if you'd like. Sean is running a special on Thumbs Up, Get Yours Now. Yeah, Flint, thanks, buddy, for the prompt. I appreciate it. I just love it when you guys are like helping me out. Like I don't have to like grovel for likes and subscribes. I will grovel for likes and subscribes, but this helps when it comes from the folks in the chat room. Kristen, good to see you. Good morning. For those of you that may be new or see this later after the recording, I am Sean, and I like tabletop RPGs. There you go. Used to do a podcast, now I do this. Some of the folks in the chat have come from that podcast and then friendships have formed, connections have been made, and hopefully you'll stick around where I stream every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time right here. Talk about tabletop role-playing games. Used to have a question of the day, then go into print news and RPG crowdfundings, bundles, and things of that nature, which we'll touch on as well. But now I think I'm changing it up in 2025. I'm feeling a little sassy. So I'm going to change it so it creates a little bit more dialogue. So thanks for joining. Every once in a while, I got to talk about my cat. So, don't let that put you off. Orcus Dorcas, good to see you. Daryl, good to see you. If this is your first time chiming in, thanks for letting us know you're here. If you've been lurking or you just tripped up across us, no worries. I just like when TTRPGs were just RPGs. Yeah, I know. with some people, that irks the crap out of them. Like it's just. So I get it. The problem is, especially here on YouTube, if you put like RPGs in your title, there's like, oh, I'm gonna go and it's World of Warcraft. Oh, it's RPG. Oh, it's Skyrim. Nope. We'll strip for subscribe. Well, there you go. Now, I'm not doing that, Stefan. No way, buddy. Too funny. Too funny. Matt. Pet cats deserve to be spoken about. They do sometimes. Not totally new. Third visit. All right. I thought your name looked familiar. Sometimes people stop by, a few weeks go by, they may lurk and then mosey, and that's all right. I will sing for subs. I have been known to maybe sing a verse or two if I am so inspired from something. Morning, Saltheart, Kevin, from the East Coast. Morning, chilly morning, huh? Chilly morning, eh? Come on at RPG Sean, show us the pasties. All right, you guys are getting out of control. You don't really want to see that. I know you don't. Who's might? Stefan, more than likely. Test Trekkie, good to see. I'm a simple GM. I use a GM screen to hide my notes, etc. Since I tend to run games where only players roll, I can't really fudge. If I'm rolling, it's all out in the open. I like the transparency, which is a great segue into the question of the du jour. Question of the du jour. We'll start it off since Test Trekkie's like ahead of me, probably looking at the theme of the video. Why not sing for subs? Subs and likes, I mean, I can be bought for sure. Everybody's got their price. So the question of the day, the topic of the day is dice. And it's like not so much like, oh, are they pretty or are they not? Do they need to be legible? So for the most part, they do, period. End of discussion, okay? Unless they are designer dice. That's what they should be. They should be like practical dice and then designer dice. And I think the designer dice, if they are marketed as designer dice, then it doesn't matter if you can read them or not. Like it doesn't even matter if they have numbers. They're designer dice. That's what they should be called. Anyways, I digress. But what I want to talk about, because it came up last week when we talked about, what was the subject last week? What day is it today? It started like snowballing into fudging dice. Oh, Sean, beating that dead horse. You know the funny thing about tabletop role-playing games, podcasts, YouTubes, books, articles, blogs, is we can always talk about it till we're blue in the face and really, really just annihilate that dead horse. Okay, so why not, right? So dice, fudging dice, rolling in the open, player-facing dice, like there's a lot of things that go into die rolls. It's not dice, right? It's about die rolls. Who rolls? When do you roll? Like we could I think it's like a all-encompassing thing, like right there. That's what it's all about, right? When do you roll? Who rolls? Do you roll secretly or do you roll in the open? Like, should players roll secretly? Should they fudge dice? I mean, the GM does. I don't know if we've ever crossed that path. Like, is that taboo? So so let's start out with this. Because people are going to be like, brah! And they're going to be all over the place. So fudging dice, I'm more interested in anybody that has changed their philosophy over the years. Like, I want to start there because we can beat a dead horse. We could say, dude, I've been preaching since the 1980s that you got to roll out in the open and you got to never fudge dice. And that's great if that's your mantra from the dawn of time, since the dawn of chainmail. But I'm interested to know if people have you know what, over time, my outlook on what that looks like has changed. And I want to know why it has changed. Well, I used to fudge dice, but now I don't anymore. And why? Is it because a different play style, or you just gave up on doing it? Did it create something terrible at the table? or something positive at the table. So we're just talking about all that stuff. I'm going to try to keep up in the chat. We got a lot of participants, today. So I will just stipulate. I used to be a behind the screen die roller. That is way different now. In the open is kind of relative because I usually have a dice tray to my right, but it's not behind the screen. Then it's like, well, do you use a screen or do you not use a screen? That's maybe next week. Regardless, I put a my dice tray is usually sitting here. My dice tray to my right-hand side, and usually there's a player that's sitting right there. So it's like right in front of them. So I don't have it in the middle of the table. I don't have also, do you use a dice tower? Like some people I drop it in the dice tower and it rolls out onto the middle of the table. I don't have it that prominently displayed when I run a game session. I wouldn't mind it. Drop it in the top, have it come out, what'd it say? But somebody's going to see it. Like, I'm not going to hide the die rolls. Only because what's the point? Like, if you're going to just roll them, this also goes to trust with game masters. And again, this also has to do with, like, how have games changed and evolved? And I've mentioned this before, with the advent of, like, 3.0-ish and on, D&D specifically, Pathfinder, like those games have really dense and a lot of rules that can say, here. No, Sean, no, Game Master. No, I could do it. And the reason I can do it is because it says it on page 102. Right here, it says I can. Where back in the day, it was more rules over rulings. And we still play that way in a lot of different circles, right? OSR, the old school Renaissance, new SR, the spirit of the GM arbitrating some of that stuff, right? More heavy-handedly. And I think, well, I don't trust my game master. So then they write the rules and make it like a very fairly balanced. Like, this is what the game master can do, and this is what the players can do. And, so with that comes, I almost think I'd love to hear if anybody has heard Monty Cook or a publisher, game designer that has player-facing die rolls, why they went with player-facing die rolls. Monty Cook's a big one with the Cypher system, right? It's all player-facing. GM doesn't roll. Even PBTA, right, is player-facing. Is it player-facing because, again, it goes back to, well, the GM could be fudging dice. Well, if it's all player-facing, then there isn't any. So let's just eliminate that. You know what? Let's sit down and, like, take all the things that we can't stand. That may be strong. But things that can be questionable with role-playing games and see if we can, like, remove some of that stuff. Like, say, for example, the game master can just say and do whatever they want. Let's not have them do that. Let's put in, I know. Let's put in a meta currency so that they can only inflict something if the players have chosen certain things, and then that chosen thing comes with a chit or a point that goes back to the game master. It flows the balance of the game over to the game master, and then they've got this pool of things that they can inject, right? GM intrusions, momentum. Like, what the hell, Sean? You started out with dice, and now you're like way over here. What? Welcome to the show. I thought the stream name was a play on song, but there were 3 dice, baby. Well, Ryan, what'd you expect? I can't do dice, baby, because then somebody will say it's ice, baby, and then I'll get sued by Vanilla Ice. This way I could say, no, it's not ice, baby. It's dice, baby. See, there's a difference. Only players' role is the way to go. Only players' role is the way to go, says Saltheart. Oh boy, Sassy Sean is what I'm pay to Patreon for. Okay, well, you kind of get what you pay for, dude. Jake Hartman says, I control the dice, therefore I control the game. Bwahahaha. Yes, numbers are irrelevant in my games. There you go. Just remove it all together. Amber, right? Jake, you an Amber fan? Morning, Jim. Good to see you. No fudging. Player facing is my first choice. So just remove it, right? Like, you know what? Let's not. I'm not, it's not going to be on me. I'm the game master. I'm not going to. I will present the scene. I will present the problems. You will come up with the solutions, players. And guess what? I am not even going to impact what happens in that scene as much because I'm going to put it all on you. I'm going to play your face, put it on you. You're going to roll the dice. I'm not going to inject anything that's not already kind of at the core of the encounter or the situation. Fudge dice, I think I have some somewhere. Fudge dice, AO, plus, minus, null. Daryl, good to see you. I think fudging is an evil entropic force that rails against the very purpose of rolling dice in a game. It does kind of make you wonder, like, well, what's the point then? I mean, if you're going to have fudge dice, here's the other thing. If you're going to fudge dice, then why have the players roll at all? Because if you're fudging dice, then you don't want a particular outcome. If you don't want a particular outcome, don't make them roll. And thus concludes my TED Talk. All right, Test Track said my price if a barbecue pork bun from the dumpling place next to our FLGS. One barbecue pork bun equals advantage on one roll of your choice. This GM can be bribed with food per munchkin. I like this. I like Test Trek. I like it. Tim, if you're going to ignore dice results when they are part of the rules, then why use dice at all? Or rules. Just tell a story and forget about playing a game. For sure. But okay, all right. Let's do this. Okay. Fudging dice is bad. Fudging dice, what's the point, Sean? Play a different game. Tell a story. Come on, get on with this. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. Well, somebody in the chat is like, you know what? I fudge dice. So what? And you know what? I will be the voice of that person. I fudge dice. There you go. I'm going to do it. And why? I don't know. I feel bad about the player who's just starting. They're new, and I want to give them a chance. I want them, as a player character, to succeed. They're the noob that has never played a tabletop role-playing game ever. And they've come to the fold. They've been, they've heard about these awesome games that we play and that there's no boundaries and you can do almost anything that you want without the limitations of walking into a blank wall at the end of the world. They want to play it. They want to play the D's and D's. And they get to the table and we're going to start out at first or second level. And that player gets into a pickle, maybe does something maybe foolish, right? From inexperience, if you will. They are an inexperienced adventurer. Roll those dice. Oh, sorry about that. That's going to be 1,000 points of damage. Oh, how many hit points do you have? Oh, 6? Yeah, you are dead. You are dead, DED. Oh, I don't know. The rest of the players, maybe, they do some things. They know what to expect. But now that player leaves the table and is like, wow, that was a really fun experience. Come on. Am I out of line here? Last week, what makes a good GM? That's right. Thanks, Ryan. Oh, too funny. S3X Edmund Thunder, good to see ya. I don't remember ever fudging dice rolls. Lately, I've been running player-facing systems. It became my preference. When it comes to GM, I often roll, but then pick a different entry. Not quite fudging. So it's like, Nuba is going to when it comes to GM, I often roll, but then pick a different entry. When are you referring to like, well, I would roll against this, but in this case, I'm going to change what they're rolling against? So the roll stands, but the goalposts move? Whoop, whoop. Tad, I definitely used to roll behind the screen and occasionally fudge a roll. Not only have I moved to rolling in the open, I also let players know what the target numbers are, both for them and for me. Oh, there's another thing too, right? Do you tell them what the target number is? Shh. Hey, give me a D20 roll. Perception check. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, what's the DC? Well, don't worry about it. Just, like, is there some cardinal sins that we need to establish? 1, roll out in the open. 2, the players know exactly what they're rolling and what they need to achieve to succeed. Or do we not? Perception rolls. Or, moving silently. You can't let the player do that and let them know that they're moving silently, right? It's relative. Blim blam. Blim blam blam blim blam. RPG. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. What's that? What's that song? I almost sung it. Welcome to my show. Or is it welcome to the show? Welcome to that show. Stage fright all night. I roll out in the open now. I used to not. And I would fudge dice as a GM, DM, judge, warden. Okay, I got it. As referee. You missed referee. Come on. Oh, those are what the 3 dots are for. But never again. Out in the open. As Crom intended. Oh. Crom has spoken, so shall it be. Indeed. All hail Crom. Saltheart, I did change my philosophy from caring deeply about monitoring that nobody cheated to now not caring at all. Oh, that's interesting. See, we are all on journeys. I think I talked about this last week about like, as we progress through our lives, priorities change. Even in that also goes into some of our games. Some of us. Now, not all of us, but yeah. Okay. Thanks, Kev. I don't mind fudging dice rolls for dramatic effect, but it's something I will do when characters at a low level are just getting tremendously heinous rolls, and the player is probably younger or getting into the hobby. Yeah, see? Maybe there's a use case for it, folks. Blim blam. Yes, tell the players the target. I used to not do that, but it really gets the players into the game more. Look at that. So, which is interesting. I love that comment, blim blam. And the reason is because they stipulate like, yes, I do, and this is why. Like, I've noticed they get into the game. It's not just like, I did it because I think that's the way it should be, right? Like, if you can tie that to something like, well, I think it increases player engagement. I have witnessed this at my tables. Like, it's just, it produces a better experience overall because it does X, Y, and Z. Does anyone actually use dice towers? Oh, there we go. Ryan West does. Edmund Thunder does not. But Ryan says he made it himself. If you don't randomness or not having complete control over the result, then play a diceless game or a game that uses a meta currency. I know Tim has like Tim has a rule book. Like, it's Tim Jensen's rule book. And I'm not picking on you, Tim, but I'm just saying, like, Tim absolutely knows what his game is going to be about. He's like, I know Tim. He plays games if fudging dice is part of the game, then he's like all on board. But if it's not, you got to play the game by the rules of the games, per Tim. I have a tower, just use trays now. As a GM, I used to fudge. Yeah, see, some of us have. I stopped it when as a player, I had the memory of an awesome win, tarnished by the GM, revealing years later that he'd fudged the BBEG fight, the Big Bad Evil Guy fight, to hell and back to ensure we won. Ah. Ooh. I don't do it because I had this happen to me in the past. Ooh. Testify. Whoos. I used to. Again. We changed. But I haven't in at least 10 years. I did it for the story. quote marks. I've learned, and from some of the good folks here, that the story is much more interesting when the dice decide the course. It is something to be said about, hey, these things. You know, these things right here. I'll get Hoos's comment out of the way. These things right here, they are going to be the fate of the party, right? Maybe that's a little melodramatic. But the bones. Ah, the bones. Let's roll the bones. Ah, the bones have spoken. The bones, yes. I see wounds. I see damage in the future. Ah, yes. It depends. Hey-o. Points for depends. In a few years, that's going to take on a whole nother meaning for this guy. If speaking as GM, believe no harm comes from some fudging to advance story. As player, no fudge. Ah, interesting. Well, depends on what, am I playing or am I GMing? As player, no fudge. Adds to experience. Example, Cthulhu game. I rolled amazing till my head was squished by a monster. Wah, wah. My favorite games, be it TTRPGs or board games or whatever, are heads up, no hidden information, says Jason. Good to see you, Jason. Thanks for supporting the show. Ryan West, I hide some die rolls, but don't fudge some rolls the player shouldn't know. I used to have a player, I like Mark. He's somewhere out in Washington, I think, out by Hoos. He moved out there. And I would watch him run games sometimes because he was part of the group, and then he would like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run a scenario with 5 different systems. And he'd get a party, like a group that would be interested in like checking out 5 different systems, running a mini arc. And I remember watching Mark. He would always kind of like, I'm pretty sure he had a screen. And he'd be like talking about, the scene and what's going on. And then just out of nowhere, he would just grab a die. Or if he didn't have a GM screen, he'd just like put his hand up like this. And then he would just drop dice behind his, I don't know if you can hear that, behind the screen. He'd like do, and he'd go, okay. And he'd look at it and pause. He'd sit there and pause. And then he would go, okay, so, and then he would continue. I don't know if those things did anything. I don't know if he did it for strictly effect. I don't know if he did it and he would actually act upon whatever he was rolling. And I know some people do that. They're like, oh, let me see. Okay. All right. Okay. It was just so funny, like, to me. Just the little clip, okay. All right. Well, I have no idea. No idea. Like, maybe the illusion was like, oh, he's kind of like leaving it up to like, the bones. Even better, Tim says, play games that are designed to align with your preferences so you don't feel the urge to break the rules. There you go. Cheers, Tim. Daryl, good to see you. In the 80s, I used to allow homebrew rules to roll new characters with advantage. But now, in principle, I'm against not accepting the roleplay challenge that average rolls would make. Jim, I roll in the open for combat and that kind of thing, and say what I'm rolling for. I'll roll behind the screen for stuff that's just for me to help decide what's about to happen. There is something to be said about, like, there's the tables, right? So if you're in a game, whether it's old school or not, and you're using tables, say it's the weather or random encounter or whatever, names, it could be anything. Something that happens and you're going to roll on a table. How many people have gone, okay, I'm going to roll on the table. Oh, D12. Okay. Chicka, 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 chicka. Number 1. 1. Read it. Ugh, I don't like that one. Roll again. Is that fudging dice? Huh? Because I bet you, I'm going to go out on a limb here, because I do it. I don't like that result. I'll roll again. Or should we just pick something off the table? Like, roll once. Oh, that sucks. I'm just going to look at the table. Okay, don't pick number 1. Let's see. 3, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. Number 4 is good. Read that one out loud. Fudge and dice. Because I think sometimes when we talk about fudge and dice, it's like, oh, to hit or not. Oh, let me see. Okay, my turn. The NPC comes up and is going to smash you in the face. I just rolled a 20. I would kill this character. Oh, looks like they miss. But sometimes fudge and dice is, well, I don't really like the result of that table. I don't want it to be snowy and rainy. I want it to be sunny and great and fantastic. And maybe I'll make the party sweat a lot. I don't know. And they'll dehydrate. Oh my God, I can't go back in my chat? Holy cow. No, that's not true. Oh. This might be a problem. Like, I clicked on Salt Hearts tab and I think my chat cannot go above. Oh man, this is, I might have missed a bunch of chat. Well, I don't miss it, but I can go up and look. Let's see, hold on. I might not be able to put them on the screen. I don't have any plan or story that I'm trying. Let's see if Jim. So I've got 2 chats open, and I think I can. Dude, I got to pause one because I can't go back a certain amount. That is something I was not aware of. Interesting. Anyways, so some of these I'll have to read. And I know there's Salt Hearts on there, but I cannot unclick his. There, we'll do it like that. Okay. So Jim says, I don't have any plan or story that I'm trying to advance, just whatever seems interesting at the time. Mr. Hobbs says, adjusting rolls on a random table isn't fudging. True or false? Adjusting rolls on a random table isn't fudging. Ooh. I don't... Per Jason Hobbs of Hobbs and Friends. Edmund Thunder. Let's see, where am I? I apologize. So there's one chat that if it goes too far forward, I can't go back. And then I have the YouTube chat up. So Mothership adds in the danger. This is Edmund Thunder. Mothership adds in the danger and already knows you'll probably need another character. I like TPK systems. Or TPK games, sorry. Mr. Hobbs' Gamerhood. Jason's Rule. Hoos Drool. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just catching up here. I've paused the other chat so I could start putting them up on the screen again. Tim says, for kids, play something like Magical Kitty, Save the Day, save Torchbearer for when they're older and life has jaded them. Smiley face. Tim Jensen. Ryan West, oh man, can you imagine if you introduce players via 12 candles rather than kids on bikes? Who says agreed on tables, Hobbs, despite your memory problems? Oh, I sense a little something going on over there, right? Must have been a game gone sidewise. Sidewise. Aaron says, now I'm back to using a screen with some roles public and some private, depending on the situation. Usually just convenience and no fudging. Edmund Thunder says played Mothership with 10 and 12-year-old, kept it all PG, but they loved it. Good stuff. You know, I'm not telling people how to parent. That's the one. It's like, you know, hey, they're your kids, man. No, that's cool. That's cool. Nubis. I'm seeing if I've caught up yet. Nope. Nubis, sometimes, rarely, I roll a die and let the result inform me how good or bad the situation will be. I like the name The Die of Fate from Into the Odd. Higher equals better for the PCs. I had a player refer to that. Prenzlau, he's been in the chat before. He's my old GM. And he would say The Die of Fate. And he played a character, I think he was a necromancer. And anything that he would do, he would roll a d20 and say, let's have the Die of Fate decide. If it rolls this, then this. If it rolls that, then that. And he would do it for almost every decision he would make for his player character at the table. Fun? Maybe. Slow? Sure. Dramatic? I don't know. Tables are for inspiration, ideas, no? Maybe. Yes, they are. I would say yes, but do you want to, or do you have it like as part of the game? Hey, I'm going to run West Marches, everybody. Everything that's going to be presented will be completely random. Yes, a spaceship could land in front of you and Martians could be walking across the landscape, but that's, hey, it's the roll of the dice. No, I don't think it's that bad. But, you know, some people might roll that way. Hey-oh. Roll that way, says Hoos. Jim, as a player, as long as it doesn't feel like our choices don't matter, I don't care what the GM rolls, if it's visible or not, or if they're fudging. I don't need to know how the sausage is made. Hobbs says, I forgot I had memory problems. Gabe, I think I'm right. Am I up to Gabe? Nope. Dude, my chat is so horked. Gabe says, I like to roll chance for encounter in the open. Everyone knows that a 1 means that it's on. A lot of fun. Then I roll on the encounter table, keep that 1 hidden. We all got our methods. Now I lost where Gabe went. Yikes. Like, how far behind am I? Oh my goodness. Did I just lose you? Oh my God. Bear with me, guys. Note to self, my chat thingy is limited. Aaron says, I added the screen back for the theater of it. It acts kind of like a stage and signals that the GM role is different than the players. Plus, it reminds me of the old days, says Aaron Relia. That's another one, too. Like, next week, we'll talk about screens. Like, screen or no screen? Well, I feel that it puts a barrier between me and my players. And I don't want that barrier. See, I do voices. This is what you get. This is what you get when you sign up here. Those in the surprising deep diceless warrior cats RPG. Well, there's that test trick, he says. Okay, Laramie says random table reroll. I think it's a matter of game prep versus at the table. Random table during game, that's fudging. Ooh, strong words. Random encounter, fudging. Pre-game planning. That's probably just brainstorming. I see. So Laramie's like, hey, if you do it ahead of time, it's not fudging. If you're coming up with like random stuff and you're like rolling, oh, that sucks, I'm going to choose something else. So it depends. Macatron, hate to cut out. Oh, see you, Matt. Good to see you. Take care. Eileen, good morning. Good to see you. I'm still catching up. Who's, okay, morning here again. Good to see you. Arriving late, but hey, better late than never. Okay, I'm coming. Not bad. All right. So get better, Eileen. Wayne, talking with Jim. Okay. He comments, Wayne says, with Jim, random tables are just lists of ideas. They also have an optional numbers associated with them. Well, that's a good point that Wayne makes. Like if you have a table and you can roll on it, it just has numbers that are optional if you want to roll, right? They're just, you could pick whatever you want. So if the numbers weren't there, the point would be moot. Moot, M-O-O-T, people, not mute. Okay? Not to be mistaken for mute. So if you don't know the difference between mute and moot, you have learned something today. You're welcome. See? Look like how beneficial it is to come here on a Saturday. All right. Try rolling those random tables in the open. Share the fun, Tim Jensen says. I swear I'm getting there. Your user here. God, man, I am that far behind, man. The chat just must have been bonkers. I am ESL. ESL. I don't know what ESL is. I have to look that up. When I shared fudging with my native language fellow players, I realized that in my language, there is no concept for fudging. Oh, interesting. The closest meaning was cheating. I stopped fudging after that. ESL, help me out. Stefan Dragonspawn, Dice by Dior. Oh, God. Okay. Me too. I'm catching up too, Harrigan, with the chat. Tim says, even better, let players roll on your random tables. Oh, player-facing random tables by players. I mean, if you're going to do player-facing, hey, why not go all out? All right, players, the whole game is in your hands. I like it. I like it, Tim. It makes them feel like they're driving the game. Well, yeah, even if it's off a cliff. Oh, sure. That's too funny. Oh, English as a second language. Thank you, Eileen. I appreciate it. Somewhere it got jumped. Well, thank you. I should have picked that up. Okay. Well, that's a good point. Where am I? Like, come on, man. Where's this chat going? All right. I think okay. Going back to your user here. I am ESL, English as a second language. Got it. Well, that's interesting too, right? Like, what is fudging? Fudging in a second. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Hold on, I'm coming. Fudging rolls is awful, Harrigan says. Player-facing rolls are fantastic. Fine for the GM to decide to not call for a roll. And that's all Harrigan has to say. No, of course not. Roll. Okay, I'm getting there. I swear, rolling on random tables isn't quite the same, specifically if you discover the game's random tables are terrible. I have a method I employ for games like Cairn, where the players roll traits and such. Roll twice. Choose. GM can do that on the encounter table as well, says Harrigan. Who says roll twice at Harrigan. Brilliant. Jim said if it's all determined by rules and dice, I can get a computer to run it for me. Oh! Okay. Wow. Whoa. Oh, man. Jake, multi-talented, Sean. Yeah, I don't know. Talented might be a strong word. Harrigan says, works great for tables, not for combat action resolution, obviously, he says. All right. Ryan says English is a second language. Thanks for correcting me, guys. Tad says, I definitely need a screen to hide my notes and maps. However, every time I don't use a screen, I end up flashing into accidentally, which is not fun for everyone. Okay, everybody's got me up to ESL. Like, dude. Okay, where am I? I'm still like way behind, man. The top is like Edmund saying, but you failed. No, he crits. So I am like way things here's all like something just through. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Please, baby. Am I looking at two different chats? Anyways, I'm going to, I think I skipped up over a whole section. All right. I'm going to get going here. Ryan West says floor dice are null. Do over. So if I skipped over the chat, I apologize. I'm like riding this thing. Throw your metal dice as hard as you can at the wood varnish table. Well, that's one way. Gabe, I know people still fudge dice. I think in some circles it's common practice and one entirely valid tool in a GM's toolbox. So Gabe is not opposed, it sounds like. Like, maybe not be his choice, but he understands it. Is that fair, Gabe? I may not see your response. Disclaimer. Dwayne says, I used to fudge die rolls from time to time, but over time I chose game with mechanics that better supported the themes of the game. Tess says, I run PBTA games. What do you do now? Or how do you react? Is at the core of the PBTA experience. Indeed. Became more confident in my ability to give out info to hopefully spur engagement. I stopped trying to craft plot, worried about NPC motives and hopefully cool situations. 1,000 points of damage. I want to play that game. That is mega damage. Shambot, I love having the players roll the dice as much as possible. I've found over the years that the more you let the players roll the dice, that sets the scene, the more they get into the scene. Krista says, so I don't fudge, but I will interpret the outcome as I see fit. It doesn't mean that immediately something happens that can be added later. William Thorpe, good morning. Good to see you. Krista continues, as in a failed stealth roll doesn't mean they're immediately caught. It could mean they missed the security camera, which only becomes interesting later in the game. That is fantastic, and that should be utilized more. Some games do it better than others, but I think that people are probably more apt in the moment that if they fail right there, there's an action, there is a reaction to it, right? Or an action, reaction. It is in the moment. I don't know. I'm sure there's players that many of us in this chat probably do it that way. Like they know that if you fail, it doesn't have to be, that impact doesn't have to be felt immediately. But to your point, Kristen, Aaron, are you playing a game or telling a story? Both. Sure, but these are the decisions that make it lean more towards one or the other. You got to lean where the table as a collective leans. Case in point, true. These are all, this to Aaron's comment, like, that goes to social contract. I want to use social contract as a term. Social contract. What is social contract? I don't like that term. Ow. But really what it is just everybody being on the same page. That's what it is. Like, okay, I got it. Yep, I agree. So, feel the table. How's the table like it? Nubis, I meant rolling on GM tables. Sorry. So random encounters and stuff like that, that's when I often ignore the result and pick one that's more suitable. Fudging dice is different to having mechanics built into a game that give players meta-narrative control over their character's fate. Example, Benny's in Savage Worlds, fate points, etc., says Test Trekkie. Jim says, I think what Nubis meant when rolling against a random table or things like that, and I've done that too. All right. Oh, I skipped. Okay, I'm moving right along. Do. RPG Gen Exile, haven't used screens in eons. Keeps me honest. I just like having all my crap behind it, honestly. It's like otherwise it looks like I'm at work and I got shit all over the place. Well, not shit, but stuff. What kind of work do you guys think I do? Come on. Orcus Dorcas. I sometimes roll behind the screen. I sometimes roll in the front of the players. I sometimes do hidden rolls. I have fudge dice before for reasons. I have allowed re-rolls for reasons. My preferences change. This guy's out of control. No. I think my anxiety just went right through the roof. I mean, where's my anxiety pills? Orcus Dorcas. What is going on here? I'm old enough and grumpy enough that if someone's playing something away I don't like, I give them a thumbs up and move on with my life because I have less years ahead than behind and don't care. True. It's just not worth it. Nowadays, it's not worth it. Just, okay, fine. Right? Like, we really want to die on some hills, especially some of us old people. That hill, not worth dying on. As a matter of fact, I don't want to die anymore than when I did when I was 30, so. Jim, example. I rolled an 8, but notice that entry 9 is more interesting and fits what's going on better. I'm not going to abandon my judgment about that because a block with numbers on it said so. Come on, Jim. Come on. Laramie's spot on this as well. Devil's bargains are great. Ooh. You ever deal with the devil in the pale moonlight? Forgot it was Saturday. Guys, no, I haven't gotten to the part where you guys have guessed that song. All night. Then switch to no screen, roll in the open, no fudging for the drama of it. And then the GM is a player 2 for 2 reasons. Okay, Aaron says. I like to grab people out of the corners of the chat and have them come in. That's now I got Aaron talking. Jake says, I think this also depends on the players. Are they good with trusting me to fudge when needed? Do they want all rolls in the open? Do they like the tension of not knowing things related to rolls? True, for sure. Like, hey, truth hurts. I'm going to put it out there. You sure want me to roll in the open? All right. You sure you want me to roll in the open? Okay. Roger. Roll living out in the open as far as high sneak rolls. I have the players make the roll at the moment something would happen, so they know right away anyway. If that makes sense. You know, I played a game with Frank Metzner. It was one. If you don't know who Frank is, he did the Red Box. It was at Gary Con. And what he did was if it was a player roll, like a sneak or a hide, you know, something like the player shouldn't know whether they've succeeded or not, he would ask the player high or low, and then he would roll. I don't know. Some people do that. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Again, it wasn't Red Box like I was kind of hoping it was, because I signed up for the game to play with Frank because he wrote it, and I thought the game would be really cool. It was by the creator of the game, and he didn't really use Redbox, and I was like, what's going on here? I've had players who don't want to know. Interesting. Now, there's a dynamic too. Like, what if you have a table that's like half the players want to, half the players don't? Roger says, I don't agree with you fudging to save new player characters. Part of the game is death, and keeping that from new players compounds the problem. So Rogers was talking about my example earlier where I'm like, oh, new player, I might fudge the dice because I don't want him to die and then run off. Like, well, that experience sucked. Roger disagrees with me. That's all right. I mean, you know, I don't know. Some people won't care if their players die. Oh, that's another one. Let's talk about player character death. Oh, I fudge rolls for kids who are new players. These are those who tell kids, tough break, kid. Welcome to the game. I am not one of those guys. Welcome to the game, Junior. The Flamingo. You guys ever watch The Flamingo Kid? Welcome to the Pink Flamingo, Jeffrey. Don't pee in the pool, Jeffrey. You ever seen that movie? Anybody know who's that? Who quotes those lines? Orcs Dorks personally don't stress too much about whatever people choose as long as they aren't an annoying zealot about it while standing on their self-righteous soapbox. Tough break, kid. Oh, that is such a line. Tough break, kid. Hey, rub some dirt on it. All right? Rub some dirt on it. Oh, 20 points of damage. I'm dead. Hey, rub some dirt on it, kid. Roll up another one. I'd say that the tension in games is higher when PCs know that the dice, not the GM, decide their fate. No punches pulled. Yeah. I wouldn't play deadly games with new, younger players. Just pick a game geared to that audience. See? It's that easy. Tim's got it all. He's got it all nailed down. He's like, well, if you got a new player at the table, don't have a game where you're going to kill them. Kill their character. Or kill them. Like, don't have a game that would kill that player. Okay, now we're going to just interpret the bones, not just read the numbers. Snicker. Yes, Hoos. I mean, what is numbers but a bunch of lines? As one who has run games for kids new to the hobby many times, I agree with Flint. Mike M. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Did a one-shot of Swad. Savage Worlds. Swad that accumulated in a boss fight, as you do. I rolled all actions in the open. It created a lot of tension and made for an epic contest. It may not always do this, but it worked. There you go. Lots of Jasons here this morning. There is. But there's only one Jason 96. All right, I got to wrap this up, guys. You got to stop commenting so I can get on to some news. Plus, it's at the hour. Maybe this will just end. Hey, dude, did you do all the crowdfunding stuff? Nope. I always start with God's teeth. What? No. I guess if I have a rule for this, it's that I don't fudge rolls that determine the outcome of player or NPC actions. I will sometimes when it's a roll to decide what's about to happen. But I don't have any plan or story that I'm trying to advance. Just whatever seems interesting at the time. That's Jim. Okay, now I know where I am here. I'm almost getting there. Let's see. I see. Magical. Holy cow! I did it's weird. I had a chunk, and I don't know. I'm all over the chat. Apologize, guys. I think I'm almost caught up here. I am caught up. Or, you know what? I haven't hit play. I had it paused. Holy cow, am I way far behind? I have to read all these comments. Whew. With a group like you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Wow, I am way behind. Mute versus Moot, the real reason we all watch. Too funny. Thanks for that, Mike. Appreciate it, Mike. All right, I'm getting there now. Holy cow, am I gone? I'm like, here. Hey, chat, want to let them catch up? No, probably not. It's all good. Oh, getting there. Running. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm coming. Game just uses meta currencies to fudge. I bet that's what Sean said. I'm still behind. He's going back to Gabe. All right, keep going. So if you fudge dice, I won't play at your table and don't want you at mine. Whoa, strong words. How would you know, Daryl? How would you know? A good dice fudger. Are you a dice fudger? Maybe. Maybe I'm not. You gonna play? Are you gonna play little doggy? Or are you gonna bite? Are you gonna play all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bark? I don't know. I got nothing. If you are fudging rolls, chances are good you are playing a game that doesn't support the way you prefer to play. Doc Flamingo, not to be mistaken for the Flamingo Kid. Good to see you, Doc. Thanks for joining. My job also involves shit. Oh, God, here we go. Stuff. See also things. Dude. Harrigan's catching up. He's coming strong. Oh, my goodness. I'm coming. At RPG Sean, don't give yourself to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. Fudge because I'm not a machine. Indeed. I am so behind. Thanks, Hobbs. Playing with kids, I'll fudge to keep things moving so they have a good experience, but I don't fudge if I'm playing with adults. Oh, so you have a cutoff age for fudging, William? Jake said that's how he exactly does it. Okay. Zoom. Hell yeah, man. Right. Frank didn't write Redbox because that's the game he plays. Sean's never going to catch up. You guys just like cranking. Death is not part of every game. There are not even rules for it in some RPGs. What? Okay. Let's play an RPG nobody dies. I used to fudge too, but since playing systems like Savage Worlds and Genesis, narrative dice system. But I don't anymore since those systems encourage rolling in the open. Sean is in the hex crawl portion of the show. I'm pretty sure this crawl through the chat is non-linear. Dude, pretty sure. Oh, man. My connection is choppy and Sean just keeps jumping around the comments. It's a very disjointed. Dude, it's like chaos. As we get so many people, I'm like, fuck, it's out of control. All right. Let's get it. Okay. So it's at the top of the hour. That concludes the discussion. If you are going to take off, please do me a favor and hit the like button before you exit. I think we might hit an all-time record for likes during the live stream. I think the record, if I'm not mistaken, is 39 at the time at a given moment. So we got a lot of people here today. Thank you so much for joining me. I very much appreciate it. If you're willing to stay, I'm going to go through some quick news, RPG news, what's going on, some things that I came across, print news, what's out in print, crowdfunding, and I think I have a couple bundles that some of you might be interested in, and we'll whip through that and get everybody out of here. So if you're willing to stay, fantastic. If you're not, thanks for joining me for the open discussion. I stream here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Hit the imagine you walking out the door and there's like the like button and the dislike button and the subscribe button. Just take your hands and just go smash like this. You know, whatever happens. Visit the gift shop on your way out. Yeah. And don't forget, tip your wait staff. They're working really hard. All right. Let's get into, for some of you, you guys might have lurked and have participated today. So thank you very much. For some of you that might be new, we'll go into a few segments about what's going on in like RPG Landia. So let's start with RPG news. Something's going on, right? Hold on a second. Something playing and it's capturing the sound. Jim texts me. Uh-oh. Dude, it's looping. What? Hold on, bear with me. I see what's going on. There. I think I got rid of it. Dudes, how has that not happened all day? It must have been when I shared the screen. Great. Sorry about that, guys. And then I lost the chat, so I have to put it in there and see this works. Is it done? I think it's done now. Sorry about that. I had my YouTube open, which I thought I closed. And then when I flipped over to sharing, I looked and I'm like, oh my goodness. All right. Are we good? Plus, the chat is delayed, so it probably lasted longer than I anticipated anyway. Is everything good now? I think the chat is like... It's better now, Jim says. Thanks, guys. Dude, looping. He actually called me. Thanks, dudes. I'm looping. Ugh. So I gotta bring up the chat. So hold on a second. I think I can do it without like effing up my whole stream here. I apologize, dudettes. Bear with me. I just gotta find the chat and kick it out. So bear with this dude. All right. Pop out. Okay. Like looking at the chat, and it was like going bonkers. All right. it's always an experience. All right. Do I need to go back and talk about the summit? All stations green. Oof. Now I won't be able to highlight things, but that's okay. I can see you guys. All right. Sorry, boys and girls. So anyways, Green Ronin. I don't even have my phone on very well. Like it should have exploded. Thanks everybody. Joe, appreciate. Aaron, Harrigan, Hoos, Jim. Dude, I should probably turn this on louder. Like, bro, why is my phone going off? Oh, you don't know what happened after the main top. Okay. Green Ronin, 25th anniversary. Chris Pramus. Now I've realized how his name is pronounced. Not Pramus. Just going over 25 years of being in the industry, which I know is not easy. He just kind of talks about some of the... So I mentioned Orc was their first product. Has anybody played Orc, the role-playing game? And then I was making fun of Orcus Dorcas, which now is all lost. Damn it. Maybe it's like, I have Orc. It's been on my shelf since, when did they put it out? 2000? I don't know. It's like, I think so. Orc at Gen Con 2000. You should just show the mic drop. So, anyways, there is Green Ronin. And then before that, oh my goodness, what a crazy time. Like one little mistake just ruins everything. So the DCC Indie Creators Summit, live virtual event, March 14th. I think this occurred last year or the year before. Got some grief because the panel was not very diverse. I don't know who's speaking at this. They haven't put out who the speakers are. But if you are putting out something on the tabletop RPG industry hobby, if you're looking to do it or you've done it, but maybe have some hang-ups, like you're not sure how to do something crowdfunding, for example. They've got an event like that. It's $20 is the cost. So it's like a full day, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Introduction and overview of Indie DCC publishing resources, printing fundamentals 101, crowdfunding 101, zine making 101, technical RPG layout 101. And for $20, each one of these is an hour long. It's a no-brainer. Looks like they also might have some overlap with some of these. So you're gonna gotta pick and choose which ones you wanna check. But this is great. This is great. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Now I feel really terrible. I feel really terrible. No. I was gonna be like, how was the stream this morning? I'm like, well, it was great. Until I nuked it. Publisher fulfilled drive-through RPG experiments with retail versions of TTRPGs. This was interesting that you should know about. You can buy role-playing games in various formats on drive-through RPG and sister sites like the Storyteller's Vault and the DM's Guild. There's even Pocket PDF format, which I did not know about. So until this week, if you wanted a softback or hardcover from drive-through RPG, you would need to have found a TTRPG for which the publisher has submitted the right layout files and then ordered a print on demand. Okay, this is dated February 8th. Today, as this is recorded, the print on demand comes from partners such as Lightning Source. We some of us know that. And Drive-Thru RPG have worked hard to keep the costs down. It also gives them printers around the world, which is handy if there are trade wars brewing. However, if you're not been able to buy the same style book as you'd find in retailers, now Drive-Thru is testing with retail version publisher fulfilled books. As the label implies, these books don't come from a third-party printer, but from the publisher themselves who have previously ordered a print run. It's the same books as retailers had or once had. Onyx Path is one of those that's testing this, I think, which is kind of cool. In America, the suspension of de minimis at customs means that even small imports of printed books will be taxed, whereas it was unlikely that many publishers were printing internationally at that level before. It's radically less likely now. So there you go. Later, Jim. I think you're bowing out. Good. Thanks, man, for coming by and chiming in. All right, so there's that. Jared Rasher, I'm going to give him some spotlight. So if you haven't gone to What Do I Know JR.com. Jared Rasher was a friend of Gaming and BS. He's been to Gamehole Con. I've met Jared. He's just an all-around great guy. He writes for Gnome Stew as well, and has a podcast with Angela Murray. Is it Hit Armor Class Zero? Can't remember the title of the podcast. I apologize, Jared. But this guy's blogging like I think he's probably putting out 2 or 3 articles a week, which is, if you've ever blogged, there it is, Hit Armor Class Zero with Advantage. That's the podcast on the right-hand side, right here. And he's not hanging it up. At first, I thought he was hanging it up. He's not hanging it up. He's just going to, lessen the amount, of reviews that he's doing. And I just want to recognize this guy and the amount of stuff that he's put out over the years that he started blogging and writing. If you haven't checked it out, go over there. Some of the topics, I have to admit, I don't think this would come to a surprise to Jared. I'm not into the D&D space, although he does touch on other games. There is kind of a primary theme around some of the details he puts out. Regardless, it's not his, again, commitment and, his contributions should not go unnoticed, in my humble opinion. So just wanted to put that out there. So he's like, hey, man, I'm not folding up shop. I'm just cutting back. Not, I think he's probably felt an obligation. I'm sure he says it in there that he probably felt an obligation to I got to crank stuff out. I got to crank this out. If I don't, people will disappear, and that's not the case. So he's just going to reel it back in a little bit. There you go. That's all I have for news. Bundles. Who wears my champions? Champions, folks. That's right. That's right. Champions 4E Essentials. Get the bundle, you crazy Champions fans. There you go. Hobbs says it too. Great dude with incredible longevity. Totally, for sure. And then, of course, you can't just get the Essentials. You got to get the Hero 4E campaigns. Yeah, there you go. You crazy Champions lovers. See, Gabe, I knew I'd get somebody. Yeah. So if you don't have these, Gabe, yeah, there you go. First one. All right. Look at this. April 2017 Champions 4E Essentials Bundle. 30 tabletop role-playing PDF rulebooks, supplements, and adventures from the nigh legendary 4th edition. 1989 to 2001 is 4th edition. What a span of years of Champions. The super role-playing game from Hero Games. Craziness. Look at this. Rulebooks and GM screen, organizations and corporations, Primus, and Viper, Normals, Allies. Look at this. Look at the bonus collection. It just keeps on giving. Take it. Go get it. Oh, Champions. Yeah. Oh, too funny. All right. Links in the chats. think I put both of them in there. They're both on that site. If you go to one, you can see it at the top of the page. And then the other one is all of these. Yeah, man. It's just great. It's great. It's just awesome. Like $15 for this, like total retail, $22.50 originally appeared, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, great. $15 and you get all these books. Right, for those. That's the supplements. There you go. That's all I had for bundles, which I like totally forgot the intro for. Dude, everything was fine until we went to the news. I shared my screen. What a mess. All right, let's get into print news. Print news. Print news. Print news coming from EN World. None of the sites that I'm on for, I have no partnership, no affiliation. Just go over there and click all their ads and tell them how great they are. Okay. First one. Lullaby for the Volcanic Aquarium. Marauders of the Multiverse by Dragon Peak Publishing. Dungeon Crawl Classics and Mutant Crawl Classics. Go get them, $10 each. Shadowrun, Lethal Harvest by Catalyst Games. Still cranking out stuff for the shadows of the runs. H20 Apocalypse. Surf Punk Piracy in a Drowned World by Exalted Funeral. It's for Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. Zine. $12. PCs are surf punk pirates. Oh, yeah, baby. Surf's up, dude. Come on, Johnny. Let's go surf, dude. In a post-apocalyptic future where the ice caps melted and drowned the Earth, the PCs travel around looking for remnants of the old world, raiding elite supply ships, battling crazed mutants, and doing sick tricks off dinosaurs. I would love to learn to surf. And if this beach is safe to surf, this beach is safe to surf. Doom Song. Hardcover core rulebook, $63.70 by Caesar Inc. Panem as a nation of foul heresy and undying devotion, a grim world of medieval horror undergoing an apocalypse awaits. PCs navigate a land poised between two extremes. Next one, Sundered Isles. This is Tompkin Press. Iron Sworn and Starforged fame. 2 ring-bound books, deck of poker-sized cards. Like the pirate version of Iron Sworn and Starforged. Next one, the terrain set by Loki Battle Mats. Fantasy System. Fantasy RPGs. Yeah, you can use it for all of them, not just 5th edition. There you go, $50. Booyah, print news. Get it while they're hot. Hot. Did I put the link? Put the link down there. Put the link in there, Sean. Next up, let's do crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, last one, I swear. Hang in there, folks. I can't, it's almost time to go. I gotta get going with my life. So we're going to go through every zine crowdfunding campaign for Zine Month. Just kidding. I'll be here all day. First one, Glumdark. Or is it Glumdark or is it Gloomdark? By Exalted Funeral. System neutral source book, $36. I think I brought this up prior to even having it kicked off. $120,000 Kickstarter of a 40K goal. Booyah. Next one, The Secret World North America. TTRPG Savage Worlds and 5e by Star Anvil Studios. Secret World RPG. And intrigues me. What is the Secret World RPG? Well, funny you ask. The conspiracies and supernatural horrors of the world are real. North America is the headquarters of the Illuminati. And you're on the front lines between those that want to destroy the world and those that want to control it. Based on the modern horror MMORPG of the same name, You'll play as agents in these conspiracies, each armed with powers to advance your agenda and prevent others. I have not played the video game. Funded. Oh, it's not funded. It has $25 to go. It's this close. Sorry, $522 to succeed. $25 per day. We'll get it there, I think. Am I reading that right? I don't know. It's math. I don't know math. Next one, Conquest Chaos. Conquest of Chaos. Conquest of Chaos. Kill giants, discover the truth, save the world, save the cheerleader. Campaign path for level 0 to 5, compatible with D, C, 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 C. It's on backer kit. It's by Dragon Peak Publishing. The Thrall to the Ever-Hungering Ghoul Sword from Cubicle 7 Games. This is for OSC and Merkburg. It's an RPG zine. $3,600 of a 3,600 euros, Sean, of a 3,000 euro goal. Quest for zines, or zines, if you will. A zine quest zine about zines. Like, how would you pronounce that? Maybe like the author wants those to say zine. What is it? What if it was like Philip Reed Games, by the way? What if Philip wanted like, I want people to, it's pronounced zine in my title, not zine. So it's like quest for zines, a zine quest zine about zines. Funded. And then, of course, last but not least, EN Publishing. Advanced 5th edition, level up A5E, Gate Pass, Gazette, Annual 2024. It is out there on Backer Kit. Go check her out. Booyah, Grandpa. That is it. I am done. I am finished. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I want to thank all of these fine folks for supporting my show over on Patreon as well as here on the YouTubes at the $5 level or higher. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Your contributions allow me to buy a coffee and buy a house. No, I'm just kidding. Cthulhu, please make it stop. Keith says, oh, that's not my, oh yeah, my chat's hosed. Anyways, thank you for being here today to keep me busy and to see the destruction that was. I appreciate it. And everybody texting me like, dude, your stuff's hosed. Stop. Make it stop. I stream here every Saturday, 8 a.m., and I promise you it will not always be disastrous. Next week, maybe we'll talk about screens. Screen, no screen. Should the players have a screen? Inquiring minds want to know, why does it always have to be the game master? Why is it GM screen? Why couldn't it be PC screen? Right? I mean, think about it. If you took one of those like 3-fold custom ones that are like landscape and you put the stuff about the game in those and then you just laid it down in front of the player as like a play mat? What? Oh, dude. You're getting this like for an internet. Like you get it on the internet, you go to YouTube, boom. As Brett would say, we're shitting diamonds over here. Anyways, players should hide their roles and announce results to the GM, says Gabe. Well, there's been crazier things that have happened. Go out, spend some time with those you appreciate. Leave those that you don't kind of to the side and, play some games. Take a break if you need to. And remember, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. I hope to see you next week. Thanks so much for joining me. Appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. See ya.